everybody. Welcome to What's in the Box, the quarantine panel show featuring a box. How's your lockdown going? I had my first lockdown dream the other day. I dreamt that I met up with a friend just to have a little cuddle. That was it. It wasn't a sex dream or anything. Just literally, we met up in a classroom secretly and we had a cuddle. That's what lockdown's doing to me. What's it doing to you? Let me know in the comments. We've got a fun game for you today. We've got 2 returning guests and 1 brand new contestant. I'm really looking forward to this. We're going to bring back one of the returners first. She is the all-reigning champion. She's received the 2 highest scores so far in What's in the Box. Let's see if this is any different. It is Kate Smurthwaite. Hello, Kate. Well, how are you? It's a new background this time.
Yeah, it's lockdown, isn't it? So my housemate's got a work meeting in the living room on her Zoom. So I'm on the floor of my bedroom. This is my radiator, which I've thrown an old duvet cover over, so that because otherwise it's got that sort of odd sticky texture to it.
And not only that, it would look like that you were being held hostage to play this game, which I promised to everyone that's not the case. We are now going to bring on one of the new players. He's the founder of the PBH Free Fringe himself. Without him, I wouldn't do shows every year at Edinburgh. It is Peter Buckley Hill with a lovely purple shirt. How are you today, Peter?
Very much as I was yesterday and as I shall be tomorrow. This is not a question one should ask of the over 70s. One tends to get a very, very long and detailed answer if one does. So,
well, we've only got a half-hour restraint today, Peter, so keep it stum. Our next contestant, he's another returner. It is improviser Allan Lear and his fantabulous bookshelf. How are you today, Allan?
I'm very well, thank you. Slightly intimidated being on a show with guests of the calibre of Peter Buckley Hill and Terry Waite, but apart from that, I'm doing great.
Terry Waite? Wasn't
he the guy who was kidnapped and chained to a radiator for...
Oh, and are you related, Kate? Because you have the same surname. We've got our guests. We've got facts about them all. Let's start with round 1. What's in the box? What's in the box? Round 1 is called What's in the Box. I have a sleek black box with a mystery item in it. I'm going to ask our contestants what they think is in the box. They'll most likely be wrong, but it's then up to them to determine why their guess was the closest. It's a debating game. It's basically what the show is named after. We're going to start with Kate Smurthwaite. What is in the box today?
I think that what is in the box is a bath rug.
A bath rug, folded up, put in the box. I like your thinking there. Next up, Allan, what do you think is in the box?
I think it is the resonant echo of all the clapping for the NHS we've been doing.
And I've been putting them in a box, very much like a Greek legend. It could be that. Peter Buckley Hill, what do you think I've got in the box?
It is almost certainly the secret of reversing entropy as guarded by the Illuminati for many centuries.
We're going with whimsical answers today. I like it. It's the theme of the episode. Once again, all the guests are wrong. This keeps happening. Well, the thing that is actually in the box is, drum roll please, an energy efficient light bulb. For all your energy-efficient ideas. That's what's in the box, but pray tell, why was everyone the closest? Whoever debates the best wins 3 full points. Kate, a bath rug.
Well, I mean, as you can see, Frizz, what is in essence a bath rug? Let's look at this from a philosophical point of view. It's a practical item whose one and only purpose is to absorb water so that it doesn't damage your bathroom floor when you step out of the bath. And frankly, this does exactly the same job. You just put it on at full power and hopefully it generates enough heat that it evaporates the water off the floor of your bathroom before there's lasting damage. So it's basically just the same thing, slightly different shape.
Counterpoint, have you used one of these energy efficient light bulbs? It takes about an hour for there to be any light coming out of them. So you've got a bit of free time if you're wanting it to dry.
Exactly. I think you've understood how inefficient my bath rug is. It's basically a flannel.
Oh, nice save.
Same thing.
Nice save. Allan, the echoes of all the applause that the NHS have been getting, that I've been collecting, it's clearly not that. But tell me, why is it the closest guess?
Well, I think it's fairly obvious that it's an extremely perfect metaphor for all the clapping that we're doing with the NHS, because the NHS, without knowing they were supported by the public, would be stumbling around in the dark. Their morale would be low, they'd be feeling bleak, but our applause shines a light on their efforts and warms their cockles. And it's an energy-efficient light bulb, which means that the user, like an NHS staff member, is one of the good guys.
Very good, very good. We should broadcast that tonight at 7:55 p.m. Peter Buckley Hill, the secret of reversing entropy. I'm surprised I remembered the answer, but did you? Why was your guess the closest?
As concealed for many centuries by the Illuminati, light bulb illumination.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the 3 points right there. That is the closest. Very good, Peter. Usually the points aren't given away that quickly, but I generally forgot he said Illuminati. So yeah, that's 3 points. That's an easy 3 points. Very good answers anyway to Allan and Kate. Kate, I would replace that bath rug if I were you when you get the chance. That's the end of that round. It's time for round 2.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Round 2 is called That Is Ideal for Me. I've asked our contestants to provide their own items in their own box. They are going to gift one of them to another contestant. That contestant will then tell me why it is the most ideal gift for them in this current situation. So it's the best item that they could ever receive, and they're going to explain why it is the best item they could ever receive. Starting this round is Allan, which means your gift is going to be provided by Kate. Kate, what are you gifting Allan today?
I don't know what's in my box. I get my housemate to prepare this box, so I have no idea what's going to come out of it. But here it is. It's a hip flask, which has been embossed with the delightful legend. It says, "It's motherfucking booze time." It's a hip flask with this delightful and hilarious caption on it.
Okay. Allan, this is going to be tricky for Allan, but tell me why this is the best gift that you could ever receive.
Well, that is ideal for me because as a recovering alcoholic, I find it quite difficult to attend social functions where people are drinking a lot because there tends to be pressure to join in. I think if I had a hip flask full of apple juice with the words, "It's motherfucking booze time," imprinted on the side, nobody would question the fact that I was joining in with the downing of ethanol with all the equal enthusiasm of my colleagues and peers. So thank you for that, Kate. That is ideal for me.
It is. And I do love the fact that your hip flask does have "It's motherfucking booze time" on. It's like, it's very obvious. It's very to the point. It's like one of those rubbish political cartoons that label everything that's on there. It's like, oh, this baby, oh, it represents the Democrats. And it's like, yeah, so enjoyable answer and believable answer as well, Allan. Next up, Peter, you are going to be given a gift from Allan. Allan, what is this gift?
Liverpool Football Club.
Oh, you shouldn't have. No, really, you shouldn't have. I am overwhelmed by the wonder and the magnificence of this entire Liverpool Football Club. It might indeed have been stolen by the population of Liverpool itself, that being their reputation, but I would not say that because I have enough enemies without having the whole population of Liverpool to it. I love Liverpool. I think Scousers are great, and I think Liverpool Football Club will adorn my mantelpiece in a magnificent fashion. That's probably all I can say.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that a lot. A lot of animation there, but I'm not giving the points out yet. Next up is Kate. She's moved places, but it's fine. We'll carry on. Kate, you're going to be receiving a gift from Peter Buckley Hill. Peter, what is your gift?
Oh, I cobbled together this box in 2 minutes because I forgot. But I have discovered this wonderful round thing with Takamini on it. It may or may not be a beer mat, and it says the legacy continues. And this is all I know about it.
Right, so Kate, once again, the gift that you've been given is a weird disc. Is it cardboard or platted? But it might be a bar mat. We know it has a guitar on it, so I don't even know what the object is. I don't think Peter knows what the object is, but Kate, tell us why it is the perfect gift for you in this situation right now.
Well, I mean, I'm delighted that you finally brought this item for me. This is one of those Antiques Roadshow moments where, understandably, you know, this has probably been in Peter's family for a long time and nobody's necessarily realised what it is and why it's of such great value. In fact, I was chuckling along to hear the stories about potentially using it as some sort of coaster or rudimentary frisbee. In fact, this is a lost item that collectors have been searching for decades. This is in fact the first ever prototype compact disc. Now, a lot of you don't realise that compact discs were not always made of metal. In fact, the very early ones were wooden, and that's exactly why they didn't work and had to be replaced with metal ones. But nonetheless, the principle was there and it had to be tried out. You know, could a disc be made compact? That was the question at the time that scientists were struggling to answer. And this incredibly valuable item that Peter holds there is precisely the answer to that question. And I don't want to sound callous here, but the reason that it's the perfect gift for me right now is because, of course, I can sell it for £1 million and live happily ever after, not worrying about the impact of lockdown and all the rest.
Okay, very, very nice there. I've got points to dish out. In round 2, it goes 3 points, 2 points, 1 point. Kate, I resonate with that. I would also sell it for millions of pounds if I could, and because I resonate with that, that is 3 points. Alan, I'm giving you 2 points. It was a very good suggestion. It worked as well. Yes, obviously, people think that avoiding alcohol is a taboo, so having a flask like that, and you explained it very well. Peter, I resonated some sarcasm with you as you were stating how much you loved Liverpool, and I could sort of see through that. So I don't believe that was the best gift you could be given. So that's just 1 point to Peter for that round. It is time for round 3.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Round 3 is the music round. I have a collection of compilation CDs which are round and they play music. This one is the Radio 1 Live Lounge collection from 2006. And I was looking at some of these artists and I realised that I haven't heard from them in a while. So this round is called Recent History. I'm going to be reading out the first 9 artists who appear on the Radio 1 Live Lounge CD. And you are going to tell me if they have either released an album in the last year, the last 3 years, or over 3 years ago. Like, how recent have they made a new album? Specifically album, not a single or a guest appearance on another song, but an album. And some of these, considering this is 2007, I've not heard from them in a while. We're going to start, Kate appears to be frozen. We're going to start with Allan. Allan, a number between 1 and 9.
1, please.
1. The Foo Fighters. Have the Foo Fighters released anything in the last year, 3 years, or over 3 years ago?
I mean, I know the Foo Fighters were huge, but what's his name? David Grohl went off and did a load of work with Tenacious D, didn't he? So I'm going to say over 3 years ago.
Over 3 years ago. Sadly, Alan, they released an album or an EP on January the 3rd, 2020 of this year. Do you want to know the title of the EP?
I'm a Gog.
00959525.
Isn't that Priti Patel's house address?
Pin number, I think. So, no points for Allan there. Peter Buckley Hill. The next artist on this album is Arctic Monkeys, with their cover of Love Machine by Girls Aloud. But have Arctic Monkeys released anything in the last year, 3 years, or over 3 years ago?
I have absolutely no idea. I have barely heard of them. Stick to the 60s. I know the 60s. I don't even know what decade it is now. 90s or something modern like that. I have absolutely no idea, so I will say yes, probably.
To which one? Last year, last 3 years, or over 3 years ago?
Last year. I don't know.
Sadly, it was the last 3 years. Their last album was Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino, released May the 10th, 2018. Allan, Kate appears to have fallen off the internet. Allan, Snow Patrol, they did their own song Run on this album, but Snow Patrol released an album in the last either year, 3 years, or over 3 years ago.
Well, firstly, congratulations on your psychic powers for knowing which number I was going to choose. Snow Patrol, I think, are probably one of those flash in the pan bands. So I'm going to say over 3 years ago.
Within the last 3 years, I'm afraid. However, their last album was called Snow Patrol Reworked, which was them redoing their old stuff, but in new styles. So is that a new album? Would you say that was?
That's a best of, isn't it?
Yes, it is a best of. In that case, I will give you a point for that. Allan, we're back. I'm just going to go through them in order. Peter Buckley Hill, if you've not heard of the Arctic Monkeys, good luck with this one. It's the Kooks.
You're right.
Just say a number, either 1, 3, or plus. That means within the last year, 3 years, or over 3 years.
Toss a coin.
A three-sided coin.
1 year.
3 years, I'm afraid. The last album was called Let's Go Sunshine, released August 31st, 2018. Allan, we're back to you. Razorlight.
Yeah.
Oh, last 3 years.
Correct. Their album Olympus Sleeping was released October 26, 2018. Peter Buckley Hill, we're back to you. Corinne Bailey Ray.
Sounds like firm of solicitors.
Oh, it probably is. And she may be suing us for slander for saying that she's not relevant anymore. But has she released anything in the past year, 3 years, or over 3 years?
Define released. Maybe she released a wild animal or something like
Released an album.
Yeah, last year. Who cares?
Over 3 years ago, I'm afraid. May 13th, 2016, with her album The Heart Speaks in Whispers.
I love the advert for her firm of solicitors, which goes, hey, you've just been in a car crash and this is crazy, but here's our business card, so call me maybe.
Excellent. I love the fact you've confused Corinne Bailey Ray with
Carly Rae Jepsen.
Carly Rae Jepsen. Yeah, it was either that or Lana Del Rey. We're just naming. Right. Allan, the Automatic. Remember them? What's that coming over the hill? Is it a monster?
Yeah, actually, a friend of the family knows the drummer from the Automatic. And I think they do weddings these days. I don't know.
Have they released an album, though?
Over 3 years, I think.
Yes, correct. March the 5th, 2010 was their last one. So that is a point for Allan. We've got Kate back. She's found her way back from the end of the internet. Kate, just to let you know, it's not been a high-scoring round so far. So I'm going to give the last two questions to you. Firstly, editors.
Editors, there you go. You see, in a way, although it's annoying to have to run around the house and change computers, it must be said, I don't think I've ever scored a point in a music round. I was unaware that editors were a band. I thought they were a group of people who ruined articles you'd written for the mainstream press. But because of that, I conclude that they're very new and trendy and probably something that the young, hip people are down with. And I'm going to say that they've released an album in the last year.
They are quite young, but the CD that they've come from came out in 2006. So they've been around for a while, and sadly, it's the last 3 years. It was March the 9th, 2018, with their album Violence. And that's how exactly they sing the
Wait,
word
an album
violence.
called Violence.
They wrote an album called Violence. It's weird that editors these days are promoting violence. And
Yeah,
Kate...
I thought editors would be like, take the violence out of that. Next one would be like, our next album is called Inappropriate Language.
And Kate, again, you've got the second question here. Boy Kill Boy. They were one of my favourite artists back in 2006. But was their last album released within the last year, last 3 years, or well over 3 years ago?
Oh, Boy Kill Boy. Well, as you can imagine, I'm a huge expert on their oeuvre. No, I mean, obviously, I only listen to Girl Kill Girl because politics or something. Person of unspecified gender, don't kill, actually. I'm too politically correct for this game. But what the hell? I'm going to say more than 3 years ago because I've never heard of them.
Yes, this is the oldest release that we've had, January the 1st, 2008. So, despite being absent for that entire round, Kate somehow got second place in that round. So, well done, Kate. You should fuck off more often. It is...
Thousands online have agreed with you, Chris.
It is time for round 4.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Now, earlier in the show, I was asking the audience members for titles of shows or TV shows they would want to see. As we all know, Edinburgh Fringe has been cancelled this year. A lot of live comedy has been cancelled. But luckily, I've got 3 of the best performers from around the country who are now going to preview a snippet from their shows that they were originally going to do at the Edinburgh Fringe this year. And it's going to be based on titles that you have provided. First up, we're going to have Peter Buckley Hill. Your title is The Orange Texts of the Reverend Queeb.
I am the Reverend Queeb, or the Reverend Beak spelt backwards, which is probably the secret of the orange, which nothing rhymes with, except orange, which the Reverend Queeb had 17 of. Now, you may ask, indeed, you probably ought to ask, because if you did not ask, you would not be sufficiently intellectually curious to be admitted to this debate or extravaganza, as the case may be. But no, definitely debate. Why did the Reverend Queeb have 17 hinges? And I would like to answer that in a song. Plink! Oh, the Reverend Queeb had 17 hinges, 17 hinges, 17 hinges. It gave him some cartilage twinges. And the song suddenly ends like that.
I loved that, Peter. I'm going to give you 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7 full fat points there. Yeah, you worked with the title. You somehow brought back the Illuminati. It seems to be a theme today, and that song is fantastic. Next up, we're going to have Kate Smurthwaite previewing a snippet from her show, which is, of course, The Magical Adventures of Dr. Hannibal Lecter.
Well, boys and girls, I expect that Mummy and Daddy have told you that you're not allowed to hear the story of Hannibal Lecter. They've probably told you that it's too scary and too frightening. But listen, here's a secret. They've left now. They've left you here with me. And I'm going to tell you the whole story about the man who eats your bones and your skin and your blood and all the rest. And if you don't like it, I'll grab something from my box so you won't be scared. It's a peg. And you can pop this on your nose, and then you won't have to smell the nasty smells of the blood and the gore that Hannibal Lecter will have left over after he's eaten all your friends and you're the last one left. And if you still don't like it, I'll give you something else from my box, which is this magical pot of nail varnish remover. And we'll use this to clean all the marks off the floor where the blood and the gore and the guts have been spilled. And then Hannibal Lecter will get out his special chopstick, which he uses for eating the small fiddly bones of only the smallest children. And finally, I'll get the last thing out of my box, making me, I think, the only person in the box history to actually take everything out of their box. And oh, perfect. And this is brilliant. This is exactly what we need at the end of the Hannibal Lecter story. It's a small blackbird that is used for making meat pies. And if you can't work out, children, how that's going to fit into the story, well, I suggest perhaps you're not brave enough for this show and you should run away immediately.
Okay, Kate Smurthwaite, that's 10 full fat points right there, and for a number of reasons. Firstly, for having the audacity to do it as a kids show. I don't think we've had that before. Secondly, for using all the objects in the box. And yeah, that's 10 full points for Kate there. Finally, we've got Allan Lear, who's going to be promoting his snippet from his cancelled show, which is, of course, My Daddy the Pimp.
Well, as we all know, a few years ago, Edinburgh was absolutely dominated by award-winning shows about people whose fathers had died. So I thought I'd go one better and take my autobiographical story about my daddy, the pimp. And I have got any number of brilliant pimping stories to tell you. I've got stories about the car parks he left me in. I've got stories about objects from my box that were left inserted in me. The great thing about the Jim Jam, of course, was that it had a mildly anesthetic effect at the time. So I was very grateful to that particular consumer. But frankly, this is a searing show of unexpected, unexpurgated, unregurgitated truths in the Jonathan Pelzer vein that you would have to be some kind of person who wanted to enjoy themselves to miss.
Okay. Allan, I've just given you 5 points there. Even as much as I'd love to see the show, that was more of an advertisement for it. But I do want to see it, and that is the most important thing.
It's not going on because I'm going to go and watch the Hannibal Lecter story instead. I'll tell you, as an 8-year-old boy, I would have loved that. Oh,
much like the real Fringe, all the shows are clashing at the same time. Oh, sorry, can't make it. I'm doing my own show about Gin Jam. That's the points locked in. It's time for the final round, which is called Round 5.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Round 5 is called 23 seconds. It's a quick fire round. I have asked our guests to provide a specialist subject, and they've got 23 seconds to name as many things as they can from that subject. That's how easy it is. The person in first place always goes first in this case, to give the other two more of a chance to catch up. And in first place at the moment is Kate Smurthwaite. So, Kate, what is your specialist subject?
I'm going to do women's names.
Here is Kate Smurthwaite naming as many women's names as possible in 23 seconds, starting now.
Jennifer, Alison, Philippa, Sue, Deborah, Annabelle, Ruth, Esther, Kate, Claire, Karen, Jane, Heather, Jill, Linda, Phyllis, Felicity, Philippa, Annie, Annika, Becky, Rebecca, Rachel, Zoe.
And that is time on Zoe. Next up is Peter Buckley Hill. Peter, what is your specialist subject?
Oh, very good question. Popular musicians of the 1960s.
Okay, here is Peter Buckley Hill naming popular musicians from the 1960s in 23 seconds, starting now.
The Beatles.
You've still got 15 seconds here.
No, that's all you need to say.
Okay. Right, stop the music that I play in the background here. That's fair enough. Let's Allan Lear, in 23 seconds, what are you going to be naming?
Other people who've played Doctor Who. So all the actors who've played Doctor Who except for the 13 canonical Doctor Who's.
Okay, I think my knowledge is pretty good in order for me to realise, but I may ask questions at the end. In 23 seconds, starting now.
Trevor Martin, Joe Martin, David Warner, Jeffrey Belden, Robert Banks, Stewart, Philip Hinchcliffe, Graham Harper, Richard E. Grant, Jim Broadbent, Rowan Atkinson, Joanna Lumley, Arabella Weir, Robert Holmes, David Bradley, Tim Trelaw, John Coleshaw, Michael Jaston, Toby Jones.
Very, very good. And in case you only know the canonical doctors, I believe Allan named the 8 Morbius doctors, the people who starred in Curse of Fatal Death. Arabella Weir was from a Big Finish production Unbound episode. John Coleshaw has played the 4th Doctor and the 3rd Doctor a number of times. So that's pretty damn good there, Allan. Let me tally up the scores. In 3rd place with 11 points, or 16 if I count all 4 members of the Beatles, it is Peter Buckley Hill. Very good, Peter Buckley Hill.
8 members of the Beatles. The 4 canonical ones: Stuart Sutcliffe, Pete Best. Of course, I know what's the one I always forget? Fine, doesn't matter.
The Morbius Beatles.
Yeah.
Peter, whilst you're here, is there anything you'd like to plug? Anything that you're doing online that you'd like the viewers to check out?
Well, I shall be singing my old songs on Sunday on Facebook, with no slickness whatsoever, as the world has come to expect from me. But never mind me. Support the venues that are currently closed down and having no income from people drinking. So, do that.
Definitely do that. In 2nd place today was Allan Lear with 19 points. I believe 17 of them were Doctor Who actors. Well done, Allan. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
No, I don't exist. So it's clap for carers tonight. Do that.
Yeah, let's clap. Whichever time you're watching this episode, give a little clap. Just do so right now. Oh, that was lovely. Very good. It's like Dora the Explorer, this. And in 1st place, with a surprisingly low score for her, with 37 points, it is Kate Smurthwaite. Very good. There. Anything that you would like to plug whilst you're on this platform?
So I'm doing ongoing videos during lockdown. In fact, I was doing them long before lockdown. I do a video series called The News at Kate, and you can watch them on Patreon. We will give you the link and you can sponsor them. But even if you don't, you can still watch them. And then once you feel suitably motivated, you can decide that you can afford to sponsor them, and then you get some extra content. My solo show from last year, Clit Stirrer, is also available for download on Gumroad. And again, the link will be somewhere appropriate. Thank you.
Will be. Talking of supporting artists, you can support this show. You can buy us a coffee, like a £3 coffee, at ko-fi.com/frizzle. And if you do so, you get exclusive content. You get to see the full 40-minute version of this episode with all the technical difficulties. And if that's your sort of thing, that's your sort of thing. One more time, my guests today were Peter Buckley Hill, Kate Smurthwaite, and Allan Lear. Bye, everyone.
What's in the box?